almost said it. We were standing in the parking lot after everyone else had already left, and you were about to get in your car, and I had about 4 seconds to say the thing I'd been carrying around for months. And I opened my mouth and what came out was drive safe, and you said you too. And I watched your taillights and thought next time, but there's always a next time until there isn't. Almost said it in the parking lot, almost said it at the table by the window, almost said it at least 100 times in rooms you'll never know about. I've been carrying this word like something fragile. Almost said it, almost, but not quite. The next morning you texted something ordinary, and I read it 4 times looking for a sign that you've been standing there thinking the same thing. But it just said, hey, did you get home okay? And I said, yeah, you. And the moment was gone like it never happened. I don't know if I'm waiting for perfect or just afraid of what perfect could become. Either way, I keep arriving right at the edge of it and choosing the safer road home. Almost said it at the end of a phone call, almost said it when you laughed at my joke, almost said it in 100 different silences that I filled with something else. I've been circling this word for so long now. Almost said it, I'm gonna say it soon. The thing about almost is it keeps you warm enough to convince yourself you're not missing something. But I am, I know I am, and you deserve to know. So next time, not almost. Almost said it now, I'm saying it now, even if only to this room, to this night. Even if you never hear this version, I loved you in a parking lot at 9 p.m. in 100 ordinary moments, and I almost said it, and I should have. I should have. Drive safe. Drive safe.
We used to eat dinner without our phones. Used to stay up talking until 2. Not about anything important, just the kind of talk that made the moon feel like ours. Somewhere in the last few years, we got efficient with each other. Good morning, how was work? Good night. And I told myself that's just what time does. I don't believe it anymore. Back when we had time, we used to linger in the kitchen. Back when we had time, every Tuesday felt like something. I give a lot to find the version of us that wasn't rushing. Back when we had time and didn't know it. You used to read to me sometimes, just articles, things you found interesting. And I'd half listen, half watch your face, thinking I could do this forever. I think I stopped saying that out loud. I don't wanna go backwards, I just wanna carry something forward. One slow morning a week, one Tuesday that belongs to us, like the old ones day when we had time. The hours didn't disappear like this. Back when we had time, we knew the sound of each other's silence. I'm not asking for a miracle, just dinner without the phones. Back when we had time, we had everything. This isn't a complaint, it's more like a request. Can we find one night a week where we're not somewhere else in our heads, on our screens? Can we just be here like we used to be, like we still know how to be? Back when we had time, I knew every version of your laugh. I want that back, not perfectly, just honestly. Back when we had time, we were the best version of us. I want to find that again. I think we still can. Five more minutes. The Uber's 3 minutes away, and we're still sitting here, not talking about anything, just sitting in the specific way you sit with someone you're not ready to stop being near. I know you have to go, you know you have to go, but the 3 minutes feels important. And I wanna be in it, all the way in it, before it's over, before you have to go. Let me just be here with you, before you have to go. No conversation, just this. The lamp, the quiet, your coat still on the chair. The version of tonight that exists right before goodbye. Before you have to go, I wanna stay inside these minutes. You looked at your phone and then put it down, and I didn't ask, but that meant something. That small choosing to not check the time for one more minute is one of the kindest things anyone's ever done in front of me. We've been doing this dance all night long, getting close to the ending, and then finding one more thing, one more story, one more question, one more reason for you not to stand up. Yeah, before you have to go, tell me one more thing before you have to go. Look at me like that one more time. The world will still be out there in 2 minutes or 20, but right now it's just this room. To remember the way the light looked tonight, the way you laughed at something small, the way you sat close enough that I could feel the warmth, even without touching. And when I'm in a room alone later, I'll be glad we used the 3 minutes. I'll be glad we didn't rush the door. Before you have to go, before you go, thank you for the 3 minutes. Thank you for all of it. In person I am terrible.
In person I just change the subject.
I look at you and forget everything I rehearsed.
I look at you and suddenly I'm very interested in the ceiling.
But then I get home,
and
somehow it's all just there.
we're better at texting.
Better at 1 a.m. when it's just the screen.
We're better at texting, saying the true things without your face in front of me. We're better at texting.
Don't know whether to laugh or be worried,
but every real thing we've ever said was sent at midnight.
You and me,
we're better at texting. You told me I mattered to you in a voice memo.
you told me how you really felt at 2 a.m. over iMessage.
It shouldn't be romantic, but
somehow it absolutely is.
Because you said it, because you said it.
And I got to read it twice and save it
and come back to it. Texting better when there's a little bit of distance.
Better
at text. 3 dots appearing in my heart actually erase it. Better at text. And I think that says something true about us, that the bravest versions of ourselves live inside our phones. We're better at texting. One day I'm gonna say it to your face.
One day I'm gonna lay you
everything I've ever sent at midnight.
I wanna hear it out loud.
I'm working on it,
so am I.
Until then,
read the thread.
We're better at texting, and worse is standing in the same room. We're better at text, but I'm getting braver. How about you? We're better at texting now,
and that's okay,
because whatever gets us to the honest thing is the right way. We're better at texting for now. For now. City at 3. and I can't sleep. No destination, just the lights changing green to red. The city looks different at 3 in the morning, like it's being honest for the first time all day. There's nobody out here performing anything, just taxi cabs and the occasional stranger and me with the windows down, feeling something I don't have a word for, but I think it might be free. City at 3 in the morning has a different kind of beautiful. City at 3 in the morning doesn't ask me who I am. I could be anyone in these streets, I could be nobody, I could be a woman who's figured out exactly what she wants. City at 3. I pull over by the bridge and sit a while, watch the water hold the lights like it's collecting them. Think about the version of myself that used to need someone in the passenger seat. She was good, I'm just different now. There's something about late night solitude that feels like a conversation with yourself. You ask the hard questions and the city just listens, like it's been waiting for you to show up. City at 3 in the morning, the only time I hear myself clearly. City at 3 in the morning doesn't need me to explain. I could be anyone, I could be the version of me that hasn't made all the mistakes, yeah, or the one who made them all stay. City at 3. I used to think alone and lonely, I used to fill every quiet with something, but this specific kind of silence, with the whole city still breathing around me. This is the closest I've come to being completely okay. City at 3 in the morning, I come here when I need to find myself. In the morning always has room for me, and somewhere out there is a window with the light still on, for someone just like me, driving in the city at 3. City at 3. You never said you loved me in so many words, but you memorized the way I take my coffee. You learn which side of the bed I need, and never once asked me to explain it. I've been reading every quiet thing you did, like a letter I found late, wondering how long it's been sitting there, waiting for me to open it. Everything you left unnamed was still a language. Everything you didn't say out loud was still a sentence. I just didn't know I was reading you until I started to miss the grammar of all the things you never had to put in words. You checked the lock twice before we slept, left the hallway light on so I wouldn't trip. You did it without thinking, that's the thing. The things done without thinking are the ones that mean the most. Now I'm in rooms where no one does those things, and I feel the absence of something that was never spoken, never named, but was there every single night. Everything you left unnamed was still than anything that's ever been said to me. Everything you left unnamed, I'm still reading. All the language in the spaces you left for me. I understand it now. I understand it now.
I was washing dishes and I noticed the way the evening light was coming through the kitchen window. And you were reading on the couch in the other room, humming something, I don't know what. And I stood there, hands still soapy, thinking, wait, when did this happen? When did this become something I have? How long has it been good? And I just didn't stop to notice. How long have I been standing in the middle of something beautiful, thinking it was ordinary? How long has it been good? I think it's been a while. I think it might have always been this. We don't do anything dramatic. Tuesday dinners, Saturday errands. We argue about small things and let them go, and sleep in the same direction every night. But there's something in the accumulation of all these unremarkable evenings that looks from the right angle like the whole thing I was looking for. How long has it been good without me giving it credit? How long have I been loved without standing still enough to feel it? Yeah. How long has it been good? I think it's been a while. I think maybe I've had this whole time. I'm not good at receiving the things that don't arrive with urgency. The quiet kind of wonderful has always taken me longer to recognize, but I'm recognizing it now. Standing in the kitchen with soapy hands and you humming something in the other room. I'm recognizing it now. How long has it been good? Long enough that it's ours now. Long enough that I can imagine the shape of a life that doesn't have you in it. How long has it been good? I think it was good before I noticed, and I'm just grateful I finally stopped long enough to see it. It's been good. It's been good. It's been good. Everyone else left about an hour ago.
I noticed, but I didn't say anything.
The staff's giving us looks.
Let them, you want another? I wanna stay in this conversation.
We've been here for 3 hours,
I know
talking about
everything,
everything.
and it still doesn't feel like enough. We're the last ones here, and the night keeps not ending. We're the last ones here, and neither of us is leaving.
Something happened in this booth tonight.
In these 3 hours over these glasses, we're the last ones here,
And I think we both know why. You told me that thing about your father.
yeah, I don't usually, yeah.
I told you the thing about the job I didn't take.
The one in London,
The one in London.
I'm glad you didn't take it.
Me too tonight, at least.
We should probably,
But
but
5
more minutes. We're the last ones here.
bartender is being very patient.
Ooh, we're the last ones here.
And the city's waiting outside.
But in here it's just whatever this is becoming.
We're the last ones here.
And I don't wanna find out what happens when we leave. Can I ask you something?
You've asked me everything tonight.
One more thing.
Okay,
Is this just tonight?
I don't think so.
Good.
Good.
We're the last ones here, and the answer is a yes, I think. We're the last ones here, and the night just changed into something I wanna keep talking about for a long time after tonight. We're the last ones here. Let's go figure out what comes next.
Check. Check, check. Check.
Check.
Check. Check.
I tripped on the curb outside the restaurant, completely recovered. Nobody saw, except you who were already laughing before I even turned around. Here's the thing, I didn't even mind, because when you laugh like that, it's not at me, it's with me. Even when I haven't caught up yet, nobody saw that but you. The parts of me that aren't polished, nobody sees what you see. The real-time unedited version. I built a whole life on knowing what you're showing when, but somehow you got through to the part that trips on curbs and talks too loud and cries at commercials. Nobody saw that but you. Nobody saw that but you. I sang in the car and you didn't turn the music down. You turned it up and sang worse on purpose. I've been in cars with people who went quiet, but you went louder. And I've never loved anyone more in a moving vehicle. Most people get the version. I spent years learning the present, confident, composed together. And then there's you getting the outtakes. Nobody sees it to you. Somehow I used to guard this so carefully before I knew what it felt like to be known this specifically. Nobody saw that but you, and I wanna keep it that way. This is the thing people don't tell you about being truly seen by someone. It's terrifying for about a week, and then it becomes the only thing you want, the only kind of room you want to live in, where everything is already out and there's nothing left to manage, and somebody still stays. Nobody saw that but you, and that's the whole thing, isn't it? Nobody knows this version, and you chose it anyway. I don't trip gracefully, I don't always have the right words, but you've seen every version, and you're still here laughing. Nobody saw that but you. I love that nobody saw that but you.
We don't do anything impressive, no grand gestures, no surprises. Just dinner most nights and bad television, and arguing about what to watch and watching what you wanted. But there's something here that I can't explain to anyone who hasn't had it. Something that lives between the ordinary moments that other people skip past. Nothing fancy about the way we love each other, nothing that makes a good story at a party. Fancy, just two people who choose each other on the boring days, on the tired days, on the nothing special days. Nothing fancy, and I wouldn't trade it for anything dramatic. I've had dramatic. Give me nothing fancy. You remind me to call my mother, I remind you about your doctor's appointment. We split the check on groceries and never once made it weird. You know which mug I like, I know you need 10 minutes alone after work. We've never discussed this, we just know. I used to think love was a feeling that arrived and stayed without effort, but this is something you build Tuesday by Tuesday, until one day you look up and realize you built something real. Nothing fancy about the way I look at you, nothing that will make sense to explain. Nothing fancy, just a way to know when you're the person I want to be tied with at the end of any given day. Nothing fancy, and somehow it's the biggest thing I've got. Give me nothing fancy. People spend their whole lives looking for the lightning bolt version, and some of them find it, but I found this instead. This low heat, long burning thing that doesn't need an audience, that doesn't need to be described, it just is. Every quiet morning it just is. Nothing fancy, I'm choosing you again tomorrow and the day after. Nothing fancy, just the clearest decision I've ever made in my life, on an unremarkable Wednesday in a kitchen that needs repainting. Nothing fancy, everything I need. Nothing fancy.
Temperature dropped last night, and I heard you in it. The way November always carries something you left in the air when you went. I don't know why seasons do this, why cold air opens something that the rest of the year keeps closed enough to manage. There's November in your voice. Every year I hear it in the changing. There's November in the space between the last warm day and the first real cold. I don't know where you are, I don't know who you're keeping warm, but every year, right around now, I hear November. We used to walk in this weather and call it our season. You wore that gray coat I always borrowed. We come home smelling like cold air and each other, and that was enough, that was everything. I'm not sad the way I used to be, it's softer now, more like recognition. Oh, it's that time again, the time of year that still holds your shape. There's November in your voice, in the sound the wind makes through old windows. There's November in the feeling of reaching for someone who isn't there. I've made my peace with most of it, but every year right around now, something opens, and there's November in your voice. Grief isn't always heavy, sometimes it's just a season that arrives on schedule and reminds you of a version of yourself that was loved by someone specific in a gray coat on a cold night, and was happy and didn't know how long it would last. There's November in your voice, and I've stopped trying to unhear it. There's November in the city, and I've stopped trying to avoid it. I just let it come now. The cold, the memory, the sound. November in your voice, once a year, right on time. Drove around for an hour before coming here. Not sure what I needed, just knew where I was going. You opened the door before I knocked, like you'd been expecting me, or maybe just always leave it that way for me. I didn't say much, you didn't ask much, you just moved over on the couch and turned the volume down, and that was everything. You're a soft place to land when the day has been too made tea without asking if I wanted tea, because you know I always want tea. And you sat close enough that I could feel you were there, without making me account for why I needed that. There are people who fix, and people who ask questions, and people who fill the silence with themselves. And then there's you, who just makes room. You're a soft place to land on the nights I arrive with nothing left. A soft place to land, no explanation required. I've been someone who figured it out alone for most of my life, but with you I'm learning to just arrive. You're a soft place to land. I wanna be this for you too, on the nights you drive around first. I wanna be the door you head toward without quite knowing why. Just knowing it's somewhere safe to fall apart and be put back together without anyone keeping score. You're a soft place to land, and I hope I'm one for you. A soft place to land, that's all some nights need. Not answers, not solutions, just someone who opens the door and moves over on the couch. You're a soft place to land, and so are you.
We've been saying goodnight for about an hour now. Neither one of us ready to be the one who leaves. There's a lamp on low, there's a half-finished bottle, and every time I look at you I change what I was gonna say. I know what this is, I felt this shape before. That long, soft ending, when no one wants to be the one who finally closes the door. This is something like over, something like done. Not the kind that explodes, just the kind that runs out. Something like over, and we both know it, but tonight we're still here. So tonight we don't say it. You laughed at something on your phone and showed me, and for a second it was like a year ago. I laughed too, and we sat with that, like two people who know how to be together. Even now, even at the end of what this was, I don't know how to leave when it still feels like this. Warm and close and familiar, and quietly finished. This is something like over, something like through. Not the kind of ending that burns or breaks you. Something like over, like a long exhale. We've been breathing now for longer than either of us said. I think I remember you, not when it hurts, but on on a Tuesday when I smell the same candle. When a song comes on and I feel the room we were in and think we were good in there. We were good while it lasted. This is something like over, something like peace, the kind that takes years to know is exactly what you needed. Like over, and I'm grateful we got all the way to the end of this gently.
There's a corner booth in a restaurant we used to go to. I walked past it last week and slowed down. Nobody there, just the light on the table, the way it always was on Thursday nights. I didn't go in, just stood outside long enough to remember what it felt like to be someone who belonged in there with you. There are places in this city where you still exist, corners of the world where we're still sitting somewhere. I carry them around with me like photographs that aren't photographs. Somewhere you still are, and probably always will be. The song we used to play on the way home came on in someone else's car last summer through an open window at a red light, and I sat with it for 4 seconds before the light changed and they drove away with our song in their car, not knowing what they had. Memory doesn't ask permission, it just arrives in the middle of a Tuesday with a full set of details you forgot, you remember. There are moments in my timeline where you're still happening, rooms I walk through sometimes where you're still in them. I've made my peace with most of the future, but the past keeps certain doors open. Somewhere you still are, and I let it be. I'm not looking backward, I'm not lost in it, but I think grief and gratitude live in the same building, and sometimes on quiet nights you take the elevator up, not to stay, just to remember that it was real, that it mattered, that it happened. There are places in this city that I've made peace with slowly, corners of the world where you still exist in amber. I don't need to change that, I don't need to let them go. Somewhere you still are, and somewhere I still love both of those things can just be true.
Something I didn't push.
I almost said it 3 times.
I almost asked 3 times.
And we just moved around each other all night. I keep thinking about all the things.
I keep thinking about all the things
that would have been said
if we weren't so careful with each other.
The argument we didn't have is living somewhere in this apartment.
Oh,
The argument we didn't have is in the spaces between our sentences.
I love you enough to hold it back,
But I wonder sometimes
what we'd find on the other side.
of the argument we didn't have.
You put on music and I knew what that meant.
I needed the room to feel less heavy,
I sat down next to you anyway.
and that helped more than I expected.
We're good at this,
And also, that's a little sad.
because what do we lose
What do we lose
when we're only ever
gentle with each other?
and never
Of the argument we didn't have is probably the one that would have helped us. The argument we didn't have might have been the conversation we needed. I love you more than I love comfort,
But it's easier
to be quiet
than wonder what lives on the other side.
of the argument we didn't have.
I'm not angry,
Neither am I.
then what is this?
I think it's the thing we don't have a name for yet.
Then let's find it.
Let's find it tonight. The argument we didn't have.
Let's have it carefully.
Argument we didn't have.
Let's find the edges gently,
I'd rather know what's real between us.
then keep a perfect silence. I
Love you on this side.
and I love you on the other side too.
You okay?
Yeah, you.
Getting there.
We fell asleep on the couch again, documentary still playing. Neither of us made it. Your head somewhere near my shoulder, my hand somewhere near your hand. I used to hate being tired, used to fight sleep like it was losing. But tired with you feels completely different. It feels like arriving somewhere. This is the good kind of tired, the kind you earn by just being alive together. The good kind of tired, where you don't need words or plans, just the sound of something playing in the background, and your weight against mine. This is the good kind of tired, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. You wake up first sometimes and cover me with the blanket. That's when I know it's real. The small gestures when no one's watching are the ones I'll remember when I'm old. I never thought quiet evenings could feel like this, like the best thing that's ever happened to me just happened on a Tuesday, without warning or ceremony. This is the good kind of tired, the kind that comes from a life worth living. The good kind of tired, where even the silence is satisfied. No need to be anywhere, no need to perform anything, just tired and together and completely fine. Some people spend their whole lives looking for something dramatic, something that announces itself, something that changes everything in a moment. But I think the best thing crept up on me in a living room on a forgettable Wednesday evening, and has been here ever since. This is the good kind of tired, the kind I want every night for the rest of my life. The good kind of tired, where waking up means you're still here. Thank you for being the reason I stopped being afraid of ordinary evenings. This is the good kind of tired, and it's everything. You said you should probably get going, and I said yeah, probably. And then we stood there for another 20 minutes, not going anywhere. And I thought, this is the part I want, not the grand arrival, not the big moment, just this, the part when neither of us is ready for it to be over. Let's take the long way home tonight, the one with more turns than it needs. Let's take the long way home tonight. There's no reason to be anywhere, the city's still out there, the night's still open. Let's take the long way home and use every minute of it. We ended up at a diner at 2 in the morning, because you said you weren't hungry, and then ordered the pancakes. And I got coffee and we split both, and stayed until they needed the table. I've rushed through a lot of good things in my life trying to get somewhere, but I keep thinking about that diner and how I wanted time to stop right there, right then. Let's take the long way home tonight, the route that goes past the bridge. Let's take the long way home tonight. I let's take the long way home. I'm not ready for tonight to end. I know eventually there's a goodbye at a doorstep or a curb, and you'll go in and I'll drive home, and the night will become yesterday. But right now it's still the night, and tonight is still ours, and I wanna stay inside it a little longer, just a little longer. Let's take the long way home tonight. Slow it, unplanned and not hurry. Let's take the long way home tonight. Because ordinary nights like this are rare, and I've been in too many cars going the fast way to somewhere. Tonight I want the long way. Tonight I want to arrive last. Let's take the long way home. I'm different around you, and I've been thinking about that. Not performing different, just more myself. Like some part of me that's usually waiting for the room to be safe enough, just walks in when you're around. I laugh easier, I say the thing I'm actually thinking. I don't rehearse what I'm about to say, and I don't check your face to see if I said it right. The version of me with you is the one I wanna keep. The version of me with you doesn't shrink or overthink. I've been so many different versions, depending on the room I was in. But the version of me with you feels like the one I'm supposed to be. You call me out when I'm performing, just with a look, you don't even have to say it. And at first that was terrifying. Now it's the thing I trust most about us, that you see through the version I put on for everyone else, and still choose to stay for the real one. I don't know exactly when it happened, when I stopped editing myself around you, but somewhere between the first month and now I stopped performing and just started being. The version of me with you is calmer, more honest. The version of me with you asks for things instead of just hoping. I've carried so many different faces for so many different rooms, but the version of me with you has only one face, and it's mine. I used to think love was about becoming someone better for someone else, but I think what's actually happening here is that I'm becoming more myself, and you're somehow the reason, which is either the simplest thing or the most complicated thing I've ever felt. The version of me with you is the one I wanna grow old as. The version version of me with you is the best version I've got.
Conditional, you get this much, and only if you earn it. I learned to live on very little light and call it enough, because I didn't know the difference. And then you came around with this completely unreasonable amount of warmth, and I didn't know what to do with it. Kept waiting for it to cost something, kept looking for the fine print. I was so used to the dark, I didn't know what to do with the windows. Used to the dark, kept the curtains closed out of habit, yeah. You didn't force anything open, you just left the light on long enough that I started to remember what it feels like to not be used to the dark. Still flinch sometimes for no reason. Old reflexes from a different life, and you don't make me explain it. You just wait a moment and keep being exactly what you are. And slowly, slowly, my shoulders have been coming down. I catch myself not preparing for the worst. Some mornings now, and that's new. That is entirely new for me, and it's because of you. And I don't know how to say that, so I'm saying it like this. I was so used to the dark that ordinary kindness felt suspicious. Used to the dark, and you've been patient with the learning curve. I'm not all the way out yet, but I can feel the difference between then and now. Between you, to the dark. In this, you didn't fix me. I wanna be clear about that. I did the work, but you made the room safe enough to do it in. And that is not a small thing, that is the thing, that is the reason I'm standing here, less afraid than I've ever been in my entire life. I was so used to the dark, I didn't recognize light when it showed up. Used to the dark, but I'm remembering how windows work. You didn't rescue me, you just stayed, and I rescued myself in the room you kept lit. I'm not used to the dark anymore. I'm getting used to this.
I told you it was fine to go home. It was late, you had things I understood, but you sat back down like you'd made a decision, and poured yourself another cup and just stayed. I don't know if you knew what that did, Probably look like nothing from the outside, but I've been waiting my whole life for someone to stay, when they had every excuse not to. When you stay, the whole room changed temperature. When you stay, I learned something about what I'm worth. I've been so used to people leaving when things got heavy or late, that I stopped expecting anything else until the night you stayed. We didn't talk about anything important, just sat there with the lamp on low. You showed me something on your phone, I showed you something on mine. And somewhere in that ordinary exchange, I felt the walls I've been building come down without ceremony. You didn't fix anything, you didn't say the perfect thing, you just made the room feel like somewhere it was okay to be not okay. And that's rarer than you know. When you stay, I stop performing being fine. When you stay, I let something real show through. I've kept that night closed ever since. It's one of the things I carry, the specific weight of the moment. When you stay, I wanna be there for someone, the one who reads the room and sits back down, the one who makes another cup and doesn't make it a thing, just stays. Because staying matters, because people need to be stayed for. And I learned that from you on a late night in the kitchen, when you had every reason to leave. When you stay, that was love, I know it now. When you stay, that was the whole thing in one gesture. I've never forgotten it, I won't forget it. The night you had somewhere to be and stayed anyway. When you stayed. Who apologizes
First,
in this house? It's always us.
who apologizes first?
Standing in the kitchen at midnight, acting like we don't already know
How this ends.
I've been in the other room for 40 minutes.
I've been in here for 45.
I heard you sigh through the wall.
I heard you sigh back.
I wasn't sighing.
You were absolutely sighing.
I'm not gonna be the one this time.
You said that last time,
And yet here we are.
here we are. Who apologizes first? In this house, it's always someone who apologizes first. We both know we were both wrong, but there's something in us both that needs to win a second longer. Who apologizes first?
Come on, just say it.
I could hear you pacing.
I wasn't pacing, I was thinking.
You pace when you think.
Okay, that's fair.
I know it's fair.
I hate that you know me this well.
No, you don't.
I'm not apologizing for the thing I said,
I know I'm not either.
but I'm sorry for how I said it.
Yeah, me too. Who apologizes first? In this house,
Sometimes it's both at once.
who apologizes first? Doesn't matter anymore, does it? We could keep the score, or we could just come back to each other. Who apologizes first?
I think it was me this time.
Was it though?
I mean, kind of.
Kind of.
We could argue about the apology.
That feels like going backwards.
Yeah,
You hungry?
I could eat.
Who apologizes first? In this house, we figure it out. Who apologizes first? Doesn't have to be the same one every time. Just has to be someone brave enough to cross the room first. Who apologizes first?
Tonight it was us, at the same time.
Like always.
Next time, it's your turn.
Sure it is.